People on Dating. I'm your host, Willie Morales, and I have three fabulous guests. I have Millie, Noelle, and Lisset. Ladies, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So today's topic, Noelle came up with the idea, which I really like, is not what to say on the first date. So I think all of us have a good story to say. And like for me personally, I can relate to this topic because there's been a few things I've said that I didn't know until I look back and I try to realize, okay, I try to go back and say, rehash the date. And I'm like, oh, I said this, big mistake. So please, Noelle, since you came up with the topic, go forward. Oh, wait a minute. We have another guest. It's Lucy. Hold on. And so yeah, it's a topic that I think definitely it's a hot button topic. All right, so we're waiting for Lucy. Where did she go? Oh, there's Lucy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Lucy.
Hello.
Hi. I brought my date night pink.
No, you look good in the pink.
It's more like what not to wear on your first date.
So, Lucy, we started recording, so you didn't miss much. So I just introduced the gang, which is Noelle, Lisset, Millie, and Lucy. So, Noelle brought up the topic about not what to say on the first date. So, ladies, please, I already made some adjustments as I went along throughout my years of not what to say and keep quiet. And if anything needs to be said personal, I'll wait till like the 5th, 6th, 7th date before I say anything. So go ahead, Noelle. You started it. Please go with one of your stories.
Well, last year I went on a date, and our first date, it was during COVID, but in the summertime. No, it was October actually. And it was an outdoor seating. So coincidentally, he happened to see me pull in. So he knew what car I was driving, and we happened to sit somewhat near my car. Eating dinner, and I'd say within like 20, 25 minutes, he tells me, basically his ex-wife hates him because he left her for the neighbor that he was having an affair with.
Oh,
and that didn't work out. So the neighbor left him as well. Then we were talking about, he happened to live in the same town as one of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So I said, oh, isn't that where, so-and-so lives? And he says, yeah, I have to catch up on my episodes. I haven't watched them lately. And part of me, I don't judge anybody on what they watch. I really don't care. But the fact that this guy was recording and going back home to watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, I was like, again, we don't need to talk about museums. We could talk about ShopRite, but I really don't want to know you're talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey either.
Right.
Then he finishes off with, so I dated a girl, and on the second date, she disappeared on me in the middle of the date. She just went to the bathroom and never came back. And I left my glasses at her house, and she blocked me, so I never saw my glasses again. And I thought, I don't blame her. And it wasn't for the fact he saw me drive in, knew what my car looked like, and my car was basically behind us, I probably would have done the same thing. And the whole time he's telling me, I'm like, you shouldn't be telling me you left your wife for the neighbor. That didn't work out. Your ex-wife hates you, like just on so many levels. I was like, this is not something you talk about on a first date. It was very, I was
Off-putting.
I was.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that's something that you shouldn't even say anything unless it's your best friend, not on the first date.
And even if you ask, like, oh, what made you get divorced? We weren't getting along. And that's true, because when you're cheating on her with your neighbor and you leave her for your neighbor, you're not getting along. So, like, there's some stuff you could say to cover up the truth, so to speak, and you're not lying, but you're not giving so much information the first date. And that a woman left you in the middle of the date on a second date, and she took your glasses and she blocked you. Okay, no offense, it must have been a really bad date if she actually went as far as to block you, as opposed to just leaving your sunglasses or whatever.
Yeah, but why would you say that? Why would you say that if you're trying to impress someone on a new date? Why would
Yeah.
you tell them? I was so stupid that some woman walked out on me on a date.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would
I
make me like,
agree. Yeah,
what?
that throw up the red flags for sure.
And then
Yeah.
another time I went, I had another first date, and the guy, same exact situation. Within the first 10 minutes was telling me how he was living with a woman, and then one day she came home, she was gone. She didn't say goodbye. He doesn't know where she went to. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling me you were living with a woman, and apparently you bugged the shit out of her so much that she just packed up her stuff in the middle of the night and left no forwarding address. And
Talk about closure. Talk about no closure.
and not only
Yeah,
why,
that's another topic there. Yeah, but right, no closure at all.
but why would you tell somebody on the first date that somebody thought so little of you, or there's got to be something, either you have a habit of dating psychopaths or you're a psychopath, that in the middle of the night somebody you lived with for a long time just got up and left, and you never heard from them again.
You know, I dated this guy, and he, on the first date, he decided to tell me about his money problems. Now, we're not talking about, oh, I got credit card debt. No, we're talking about imminent foreclosure, in a hole that was probably $100,000 deep. And what he did was explain that the reason he tells this on the first date, because he doesn't want the person to find out on subsequent dates that this is happening. So he just wants to get it out there.
What subsequent
what
dates?
happens. And you know what? That's not something to say on the first date, because I feel like in that situation, it probably was an extreme financial problem, and he was never probably ever going to recover from those issues. But at the same time, you're not giving yourself a chance to get somebody to know let somebody know you for something other than your financial scenario. So you're immediately painting yourself as, you don't want to date me, you don't even want to talk to me, you want to block my phone. And I think that's kind of like the guy you dated, Noelle, which is people who just want to throw out all their garbage right away, and then you have to deal with it. And it's why go out with anybody when you're so damaged that you're not dateable in those situations.
A lot of them
Millie,
zero idea that they're so damaged.
What was that, Noelle? Say that again.
That they have zero idea, the zero awareness that they're so damaged.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I've definitely opened my mouth a little. I remember when I was much younger, and I kind of knew, I think in my late 20s, early 30s, that I didn't want any kids. And now the last girlfriend I had that I was engaged to before I met you guys in 2010, we tried to have kids. But before then, I would go around at the beginning, say, which is the stupidest thing, but you don't know. I didn't know. I didn't want kids. I would just say that. Nah, I don't want kids, blah, blah. And that's such a turnoff for any woman if you think there's a chance between me and her, you and me, whatever. And and when I look back, I'm like, my God, what the hell was I thinking? Because you never know. Things could change as you get older, or things could change as the date progresses and the relationship progresses. Again, big mistake. I think on occasion, I did talk about, like when I bought my first property in 2017, I had a little debt, but I got out of it very quickly. And I talked about that. And then from that point on, I said, you know what? I'm not going to talk about anything, but just what we focusing on today, our date, nothing more. Anything happens down the road, then there'll be maybe some opening up if need me. But I agree. I think it's just too personal, too early to talk about your financial situation, talk about whether you want kids or not. It's just a getting to know each other phase, especially the first few dates, first few months, really.
I congratulate you, Willie, for seeing that for yourself. And this whole thing about what you should not say on a first date is more like what a woman should listen for on the first date. Because a lot of these bombs get dropped, and on my first dates, I always listen for those things. Not like it's a bad thing, but just listen keenly. And if I learned at an older age to not drink on the first date as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
No, that's well, you know what? That's a perfect a point that you made, Lucy, because it's true. There was this girl that I went out with in 2018 that I really cared about. I heard everything she said, but I did not listen. And I saw her in action. And this is for another topic where where she tended to drink and she became very flirty. And that wasn't, and she talked about her past a lot, like who she dated and what she did and how she did it. Again, I saw myself vulnerable because I wanted to be with someone, but at the same time, just like Lucy said, you have to listen. And I didn't listen. I heard everything she said, but I did not listen. And then when I look back of what I did or didn't do, I'm like, boy, it was like right there on a silver platter. Here, don't date me. Don't.
Well,
I'm
I have
damaged
to
goods,
say,
basically.
it's easy to break up when people tell you so much stuff at the beginning because you're like, oh my God, why did I stay around for any length of time? Because this was not something. So that, like Lucy said, you have to listen on that first date. Maybe people are don't edit themselves too much, but then it's possible to take advantage. But at the same time, maybe it's good for us to know what we don't want to say on the first date because we can't control other people. So what do we not say on the first date? Well, you're right, Lucy. We should not drink, minimally, if anything, and don't talk about exes. Right? Don't talk about exes. Not on day one.
Yeah.
No matter how interesting or horrible they might be, you just don't talk about exes on the first date or the second or the third. I think it makes you look like you're still not over an ex if you're talking about it.
Exactly. Makes you look like you're still carrying either a grudge because you haven't had closure,
right?
Or that person did something and you want them back because you're not done with them yet.
Yeah, no, good point. Definitely good point. I think again, and I go back to what Lucy said, is just not dulling your senses with drinks, like maybe minimum couple of beers, one glass of wine, and just listen. Because usually on the first or second date, most people reveal themselves right off the bat. And when you listen, then you get the red flag up. And like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to call
They were so nice on the first day. I had so much fun on the first date. I wonder where this psychopath came from.
Nobody was listening. Everybody was doing shots.
Yeah.
Exactly. The shots will come in one after the other. I mean, listen, I think with this type of subject and topic, it's so important to realize you got to watch what you say and you have to be self-aware. And unfortunately, I think in your cases, most men are not aware. You know what I mean?
No, I think men are much less aware of how they present themselves
Wholeheartedly.
and the impact of what they're saying and how they dress, how they look, what they say. They're just, I think they're much less aware than women are. And therefore I think they have a possibility of making more mistakes. But I say, you know what? Learn from them because they become the do-nots of dating. Again, you can't stop other people, but learn from them. And I think we have learned from these bad dates that I'm not going to do that because look how I felt about it when you did, when somebody else did that, how that was perceived so negatively. So the best we can do is learn from these bad situations.
And another thing I had, one guy on our first date wore a sweater with a hole in it. He was wearing shoes. It looked like he held on to the bumper of the car and was dragged, and like the shoelaces broke. So he tried to use half a shoelace, so they weren't like. I literally was like, no offense. I mean, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a blazer, like, something cute.
You're presentable. You're presentable. Yeah.
Yeah, my teeth were brushed. I had makeup on. My hair was done. This guy had a hole in his sweater, and it was like, I mean,
oh man.
can you at least try?
Yeah.
And I another first date, the guy.
Wait, but first Noelle is like, who said to him, "Wow, you look good"?
Right.
You should go out like that.
Nobody must have.
So you tell me he didn't look in the mirror?
and that, I mean, literally it was like, out of all the shoes you had to wear, you picked the ones that dragged you. Were you dragged here to this date?
And I have to interrupt her, and I have to say, Noelle is a shoe gal. Noelle is impressed by the man's shoes first.
Yes. First, I look at the shoes, then I look up, make sure there's no ring, and then I'm like, okay, aquí hay juego. There's a chance here. There's a chance here.
Wow, it's funny that that's such a good learning experience for guys, because I've always heard, like women always look at like a men's shoes, make sure they're clean and they're taken care of, and then the next usually is the fingernails. That's the one thing I heard, that you don't have, like your fingers are, the nails could be long, but there's nothing in there, no dirt. I heard that. I was like, wow. But I couldn't.
If there's no ring on the finger, we could cut the nails and clean them.
Yeah.
The more important part is the ring. There's no ring, where's the hope? I take them for a manicure, we're good.
Yeah. Wow. Again, is just.
But no offense, I feel, in my opinion, those are the type of guys too that be like, oh, it was funny because one time I had a really cute shirt on and had ruffles. He's like, what are you, a pirate? And I'm like, you wore a shirt with a hole in it and you're going to bust my chops because I'm wearing, and it had like a little ruffle. It was nothing big, but he's like, and the whole night it was like, you're a pirate.
Was that on the first date?
No, we dated for like 2 months.
Okay.
But, like here you are making fun of my clothes, which I don't care, but dude, you had a sweater with a hole that I could stick my fingers through on our first date. And you're here, like, again, there's no self-awareness. There's no.
Was it that visible that, it wasn't like under the arm that he could keep his arm down all day? So it was like present. It was
visible, yes.
It was visible, man.
Yes.
Because if you had one here by mistake, you just keep your right arm down.
But you're thinking, okay, to the first date, like there's just some certain things you want to.
Oh, no, I agree.
Again, I had a guy with a white t-shirt, a pair of shorts, and a hat backwards. And to me, he was sexy beyond belief. So it's not even, and it was a white t-shirt, shorts, and a hat backwards.
Right.
And I was literally like, hubba, hubba. So it's not that you have to be dressed well, just clean, presentable, especially on a first date.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Right. Where you thinking you're going to impress somebody, you don't go with your hand-me-downs, or you don't go with, the half shoelace on your shoe and the holes in your shoe. Are you sure they weren't fashionable holes? Are you sure they weren't fashionable holes?
No, because the other shoe had the whole lace. This one had half a lace. And I guess he just laced it. And again, it could have just broken, but these shoes literally looked like he was hanging on the fender of the car and they just dragged him because the front of his shoes were just destroyed.
He could have gone to the store and got some new laces.
ShopRite, you could get laces there. Like it was just, again, especially on a first date, you want to look.
It was one shoe though, right? It wasn't both shoes. It was just one.
No, it was one shoe. So that's how. And like I said, it could have happened right then and there. But the shoes looked like they were dragged, like somebody got married and you hang them on the fender of the car and you drive off. That was the condition of the shoes. So again, you would think, you might have a great personality, but on your first date, it really does. You do want to, like. Oh,
no, you got to make an impression. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
That's important, But
so Noelle, since shoes are important to you, would you consider asking a guy to give you a photo of their shoe rack or something before you even go on a date with them?
No, because I wouldn't ask for pictures because I'm afraid what else would be included in the picture. I don't ask for any pictures whatsoever because I don't want to know what else they want to send me. Yeah. So I don't ask for any pictures at all.
No, but I again,
It might be interesting, Noelle. You don't know.
That's right.
No. I don't want a dick pic. No, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't
have
But then, you know, you would also know what type of person he is if he was to go there with those other pictures. You know, it's always to just get another side of them.
I
It
don't
wouldn't
know.
waste your time.
Would you?
Maybe you had another hot day with someone else you can pick with a better shoe rack.
I don't like your shoes. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
he has shoes that are for the last 20 years. I'm like, dude, you got to change those things. They're dead now. Donate them or just throw them out.
Yes.
You know, there's and then plus, you know, you have to clean your shoes. You have to definitely wipe them down. Whatever you got to do, take them to a shoe shine place, shoe repair. They always clean shoes. That's what I try to do. Just
You know, they sell this little sponge that all you have to do is take it out of the container and just, you know, swipe the shoes a little bit, make them look less dusty, more, you know, appealing.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
It doesn't take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like you need to go to the shoe shine guy if you live in the city, you know, to shine your shoes. You can do it yourself, but takes a little effort, takes a little thought.
a little bit more self-awareness on you, not only what you're saying, but what you're wearing now.
Right.
So Lisset,
right.
what have you heard on the first date that you would not want to say on the first date?
What have I heard? I haven't had as good stories as Noelle, but I definitely don't want the whole story about why you got divorced and, you know, whether your ex-wife is a B word or not and who she's sleeping with now and, you know, how she doesn't let you see your kids. I don't want to know any of that drama, because obviously that's a big turnoff, you know. If you date this person enough times, then obviously that comes out later. But that's a big red flag for me when they go on and on about the ex-wife. I'm like, oh, there's still unfinished business there.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, the closure is not closed, because if you're still talking about them, is there a chance you're going to go back to them? What's the scoop here? You know, especially if you keep on talking about them.
Right.
You know, and like I said, I think these are, you know, these are good points that you ladies made, you know, about not, you know, first of all, just wearing something presentable. Not talking about your ex-wife, not talking about that you left her for someone else and then you had a date with someone, or the girl disappeared from your apartment. I'm like, geez, that's just too much info too early.
Right. On the first time, on the first meeting.
Yeah, exactly. I think that type of stuff is just left set for your best friend, not too, it's too early. It's just too early. Even if it's 3 or 4 dates, I think it's still too early. You know, just be together a year or two. Then if that topic comes up, then you say something. Okay, this is what happened. But I still don't think.
Okay, I'm sorry, Willie. We're Latin women. You think we're gonna go a year dating a guy? Okay, you need to come clean.
You beat me to it.
What happened? There ain't no way we're gonna stay a year. You know? Oh no, I don't know why he got divorced.
So you're gonna last a month without knowing.
Yes. By the first date, I probably know your name, your address, your siblings' names, your last name. All I need is a little bit of information for my own sake.
The shoe rack.
Exactly. What kind of shoes, what shoe size you are. So to not know why there was a divorce, as a Latin women, we're not going to last. We're going to be like, and even we would ask each other, hey, why'd they get divorced? I don't know. I got to find out. I'll find out for you. Like, we'll even help each other out.
Right.
Wow. So that's a topic that you guys, that's a subject that you need to know. Why they got divorced. Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I'm a good investigator that way. And sometimes I've provided information to a woman who was getting a divorce. All the boy, her husband's girlfriend's information on Facebook, download it, send it up in divorce court. So there's a lot of information out there that people put out there, you know, in the media, in the public forum that you can find. And yeah, so it's not, like Noelle said, it's not going to last very long, because then you start looking for information. If they're not going to tell you, then you start looking, then you start asking. And it's somehow very, very bad to find out things like that from social media. You want to, want it to be upfront. So maybe not a year, Willie, but maybe like a month.
A what?
We'll be patient for a month.
Wow.
You have patience.
Well, listen, I mean, it all depends, you know, on, like I said, the first date, yes, okay, I understand that. But, okay, maybe you got a point within a month, a few dates, then you're going to find out. Yeah.
But as a man, you wouldn't be curious? You wouldn't want to know, like, why did she get divorced? Like, wow, she's a great woman, you know, like, you know, I enjoy her company. Yeah. Gee, I wonder what happened with, you know, her husband that they were married.
I might ask, but sometimes I let the past be the past. But I think if it's something to do with infidelity on her part, then I'm out of there. Because I'm like, if she cheated on her husband, I'm nobody. I'm just dating. I'm out. So
but
yeah, you have a point.
You wouldn't know that unless you asked.
No, it's true. It's true. And well,
Millie and I will investigate for you. Don't worry, we got this.
Yeah. No. And it definitely makes sense.
But,
I just think.
But I'm gonna be devil's advocate here, Willie, because much like some men, you know, meten la pata, and then they're like, it never happened. It's not gonna happen again. It was just one time thing. Same thing could happen to women. She could be a perfectly, you know, good match, but she made a mistake sometime in the past. You can't judge a book by its cover sometimes.
No, I agree. I mean, things like that happen, but I don't know. I just think when it comes to any type of infidelity where, you know, she slipped up or he slipped up, okay, then you have to know why. You know, was it because they were separated? Was he on the road 200 days a year? Was she on the road 200 days a year? I mean, obviously there's all different circumstances, but I think like what Lucy says, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should ask within a couple, man, if you don't mind me asking, what happened? You know, sometimes they, you know, are you going to get what you want to hear though? Or they're going to give you a story that deflects on why they got divorced, you know? Yeah. So I guess it's
there's always two sides to the story, Willie.
And they say, and the truth.
Actually, three.
Right. There's his and the truth.
Side, and then the truth.
Yeah.
So.
And it's better for you to choose your future for yourself based on knowing everything versus not asking and then assuming.
No, right. And assuming is the worst part. Yeah, because you're guessing. It's guessing games, and
it's torture to be assuming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I definitely agree. Well, listen, first of all, ladies, I want to thank Lucy, Lisset, Millie, and Noelle for bringing up the topic of what not to say on the first date. And before we let you go, because we're going to run out of time soon, any what's the word I'm looking for? Any advice you give on guys, how to act on their first date? Noelle, you go first.
Stay as quiet as you can.
Okay.
No, you know what, really quick, I did the speed dating ones, and all 12 guys, I think if I got to say 5 words, it was a lot. One guy was telling me his nephew lives in Los Angeles. I don't care. Another guy, like, they dominated the conversation. I don't know if it was,
they were nervous.
Exactly. Were they nervous? That's just what they do. But I think out of all 12 guys, I think I said five words. I really did.
Well, I think you want to hear about their likes, their dislikes, you know, a little bit maybe about where they grew up or, you know, where they've lived. You know, the whole purpose of a first date is to get to know this person.
Right.
The person. not to know
they
the ex-wife.
They couldn't even tell you what my favorite color was or anything, because the conversation literally was all, again, it could be out of nervousness. Maybe that's why this guy was telling me somebody walked out on him on a date. They're trying to fill up the time, so they want to make sure.
Right.
But on one of those speed datings, one guy was telling me how his favorite team is the Yankees. I don't care. Like, seriously, like,
what's your favorite team?
Exactly. What's your favorite team? Or, oh, by the way, my favorite team is, whatever.
Right.
Go Yankees.
Yeah. Lucy, any parting words?
Yes. Definitely for guys, it's good to go with the flow. And if possible, if you're on a date, because first dates can be, between 15 and 45 minutes or an hour. It shouldn't be a long time, but if you can grab a bite to eat with them, pay attention on how they eat, their mannerism on table.
Yeah,
that tells a lot about the person.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point, Lucy. Good point. I think they should be gentlemen.
They're not shoving their food in their mouth.
Yeah.
O hablando con la comida en la boca.
I think they need to be gentlemen. This is someone you hardly know, especially if they're dating Latina women. I think they need to be very circumspect, and it's more about getting to know someone on an intellectual, emotional level. And when that is connected, the physical will come immediately, but they should not force the physical before that emotional, intellectual connection is made, because that's how you seduce a woman, through her mind and through her emotions. And then the rest of it is easy peasy.
And one last thing is I would say, don't talk about sex on the first date.
Oh gosh,
what do you
no.
think?
No, never.
Yeah.
Unless that's all you want.
Right.
Well,
So if you do, it's obvious. And if you don't, in my book, if you don't, you're a gentleman. And if you do, it's obvious.
Right.
I've been told by men, more than one man, that when women are too sexually aggressive on the first date, whether or not they sleep with them or not, who knows? But it is a turnoff for a man to have that kind of sexual aggression. First of all, it probably takes the feeling of the hunt away from them. They want the power of the hunt. They want to drive the hunt.
Right.
So they're annoyed about that.
And they want to be the alpha male. They want to be the alpha male.
They want to be in charge of that. So you're taking that power away from them by being too aggressive. But they don't have nice things to say about women. And this is, 2021. You would think that men are beyond this, but they are. At least men of older men are not beyond this. And to be sexually aggressive is a turnoff to them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, but men, their sexual knowledge is of high school.
Yeah, well,
I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. It is of high school, and I think that my opinion is that when you are in a partnership with someone and a woman, I always do share my knowledge, but from a different place. I'm not talking about having sex every day. I'm talking about there's an etiquette around it.
Yeah. Well, listen, again, ladies, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. It was a great topic. And I definitely want to have you guys back on. We got to pick another topic. So,
absolutely.
Ladies,
let's go for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Willie.
No, thank you, ladies.
Willie.
Yep.
Thank you, Willie, for putting it together.
Yep, sounds good.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana. Hold on.
Bye-bye.